Welcome everyone back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Thanks for joining here again on this Wednesday, May the 8th, and we're going to be going over more severe weather coverage, answering your questions here again today. So thank you all for joining. I really do appreciate it. If you are here, make sure to smash that like button on the way in and subscribe here to the channel. We had a video posted earlier on this morning. Hope you all watched that as well. A lot of great information in that. Also looking ahead to Mother's Day weekend and beyond for potentially more severe weather after that. Before we get into the live coverage here, we do have breaking news. A tornado warning has just been issued here. So severe weather is already ongoing here this morning, and we're going to get right to that right now. So let me take off the Outlook just real quick to look at this. We're going to look at the radar site here. Again, thank you all for joining. Make sure to smash that like button on the way in if you have not already. We got a dangerous tornado here, tornado warning. We got some big storms already moving into eastern portions of Missouri. Tennis ball size hail. So we got some big hail here into portions of Missouri. This does include the Sullivan area, Cuban, and up there toward Owensville. So if you live in that area, we're seeing some tennis ball size hail potential already. And we're looking at here the velocities, and we are seeing a very decent looking rotation, some very decent looking rotation on this storm just to the north and west of Cuba, Missouri, and this is actually heading towards Sullivan. So if you are in Sullivan, Missouri on I-44 there, make sure you are taking shelter immediately. This storm is definitely capable of producing a tornado here already. You can see the rotation is starting to strengthen a little bit on that. So I'm very concerned that we could have a tornado developing here in the next few minutes. Yeah, big hail core with that up between Owensville and Cuba. Some tennis ball size hail with this storm. Very big storm already. Look at the storm tops already here. This storm is already 52,000 feet tall. So this is no joke, folks. These are the storms that we're seeing today. And we saw a lot of tornadoes yesterday. When I did my video, it was up to 21 tornado reports and some significant long track tornadoes up there in southwestern lower Michigan. Unfortunately, caused a lot of damage yesterday, and hopefully that doesn't occur today, but I am concerned that that is going to be a repeat performance today with the atmosphere we're seeing. So make sure to press that like button, folks. Again, we'll be monitoring that tornado warning here throughout the duration of the live stream while we have it here, but we're going to be talking about the outlook of severe weather today. We do have a moderate risk of severe storms today. This does include that area where the tornado warning is. And notice where that tornado warning is on the northwestern side of that moderate risk, okay? So we have a long ways to go before this severe weather event is over. In fact, it is just underway now. So we are just starting to see some very intense storms developing in Missouri. Those storms will start to move downstream towards southern Illinois, into Indiana, into Kentucky, into Tennessee today, and eventually into portions of Virginia, West Virginia, and the Carolinas overnight tonight. So the western side of this area here of the area outlooked is going to see storms first today. The areas in the middle will see storms later today, and the areas on the far eastern side of the outlook toward the east coast will see storms later today and tonight and probably early on Thursday morning. So that's kind of how the outlook is broken down. In the moderate risk, we have areas Cape Girardeau, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Clarksville, and Nashville, Tennessee, all the way down into the Murfreesboro region. This extends almost back to Springfield, Missouri. So we have a large area with that level 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather. Very large area in the level 3 out of 5. That's in the orange shaded color. Louisville over there to St. Louis. Springfield, Missouri down here toward Joplin, getting into the Fayetteville and Fort Smith, Arkansas vicinity into Little Rock. That moves over into the Memphis area there today. Knoxville over to Johnson City into eastern Tennessee. That extends back into the Texarkana region, into portions there of Paris, Texas, and almost to the Dallas-Fort Worth area as we go through today. So a large 3 out of 5 there. And then you see the dark green and yellow surrounding that. That is your lower end potential. Marginal risk in the dark green, and yellow is a slight risk of severe weather. Looking at the probabilities of severe weather, let me shut this off just for a second. The radar, I know it's lighting up with a lot of severe weather right now. We'll get to that here shortly. Again, that tornado warning is not on the ground, but we'll monitor that here right after we're talking about the outlook here. We do have a tornado outlook of a 10% risk of some strong tornadoes today from portions of Missouri, Jefferson City down to Springfield, through St. Louis, through Carbondale, Illinois, through the Paducah region, Evansville, Indiana. That moves east into the Hopkinsville and Bowling Green region, also in toward portions of Clarksville, Nashville, and Murfreesboro, and east down I-40 there into portions of Middle Tennessee, Cookeville, and toward Crossville. So if you live in those areas there into the 10% area that I just mentioned, some of those bigger cities in the crosshairs, you guys could be seeing those very large tornadoes today that could be on the ground for a long period of time. So we want to make sure everybody is safe in that vicinity later on today. Again, just here, make sure to smash the like button, folks. We have almost 300 people with us here this morning. Make sure to hit the like button. The more likes we get, the more people who are informed about the severe weather. I would love to get as many likes as possible. So all 260 people here in the live stream, make sure to smash that like button. If you're here, hit the like button, please. We're a team here. We work together to help inform more people about severe weather. So the more likes we get, the better. So that's the tornado risk. And even outside that area, we have a tornado threat for Charlotte today. The Memphis area over here into Little Rock, into Dallas, Fort Worth, into portions there of, say, central Illinois, down toward the Springfield, Illinois region there, in towards the Lexington, Richmond area, and way over there towards Western Virginia and West Virginia. And then we have a sneaky area of severe weather tornado potential up here near the track of the surface low up into Sioux Falls, into Des Moines and Ames, the Fort Dodge, Iowa region, into the Waterloo area, into Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, the University of Iowa as well. So that's kind of the area we're keeping a very close eye on for tornado potential as well, up near the track of that surface low. Can I tell you about Western Tennessee? I just did. So you have severe weather today capable of producing tornadoes, strong tornadoes there, especially for northern and middle Tennessee, including the Nashville region, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. Like the Memphis area there in Western Tennessee, you have a 5% chance. Also Jackson, Tennessee, you have a 5% chance. Knoxville to Johnson City, and then over here toward Chattanooga, you also have a 5% chance of a tornado there in Tennessee today. In addition to the tornado threat, we also do have the threat for wind. So we have a 45% chance. Think about that, folks. Almost a flip of a coin. A 45% chance of hurricane force wind gusts. What are hurricane force wind gusts? Well, those are winds over 75 miles per hour in this purple shaded color, even in this area that has outlined in black. A very large area here, including St. Louis, Nashville, Memphis, Springfield, all the way down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Little Rock. You guys are all at risk for that today. And not only that, we also have very large hail as a risk as well. We have hailstones that could be up to 3 inches or so in diameter today. We have a 45% chance of that and a 30% chance of that in the red, and we have a 15% chance of that in the yellow, and then a 5% in the brown. So those are the probabilities. If you're outlined in this black shaded color with the dashed lines, that means you could be seeing hailstones of hen egg size or larger. Look at the real estate that takes up, folks. Most of Arkansas, most of Missouri, western Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, most of middle and western Tennessee, into eastern Oklahoma here, into northeast and north central Texas, far northwestern Louisiana. So this is a very large area at risk today for some extremely large hail, again, up to 2 or 3 inches in diameter. That is hail that you do not want to mess with. The Livingston, Illinois region, we can look that up for you just real quick. Again, we have ongoing weather warnings right now, so we're gonna kind of be going back and forth between questions here and looking at this tornado warning, because tornado warnings are very dangerous. We need to look at this. So the Livingston area, yes, you have a chance for severe weather there east of St. Louis today. Your risk zone for today, in the Livingston area, you have a enhanced risk of severe weather. So essentially, you have a very good chance of tornadoes, wind, and hail today if you live in Livingston, Illinois. That is what that means. All right, so let me take this off here. Let's do this again. Let's look at the tornado warned storm here. I would love to sit here and answer questions, relentlessly, but we do have a tornado warning that is ongoing here in Missouri, and our friends over here need us to talk about it, so let's do it real quick, and we'll answer more questions, I promise you. We do have a tornado warning here. This again includes Cuba and Sullivan, Missouri. This is just to the south and west of St. Louis, okay? So this is down I-44, right outside St. Louis here to the south and west in Missouri. And this tornado is radar indicated. So we don't have any confirmation of this storm producing a tornado right now, but some extremely large hail is ongoing with the storm. 2.5-inch diameter hail, okay? This is tennis ball size hail for this region, and this is including the Sullivan area, Cuba, Bourbon, Leesburg, St. Cloud, and Oak Hill. So if you live in any of those cities I just mentioned in Missouri, you are impacted by this dangerous severe thunderstorm, which could include, again, tennis ball size hail that is 2.5 inches in diameter, and a possible tornado. And we are seeing a little bit of an inflow notch into this storm. So we're keeping a very close eye on this here between Cuba and Sullivan, a little bit of an inflow notch there, and the tornado would be sitting just north of Cuba here, and we're going to look at the velocity signature right now, and you can see very broad rotation where the reds and greens come together is where we see the potential of that rotation hitting the ground, okay? So the closer they come together, that means the better environment there will be for a tornado to occur. So if you're in Sullivan, Missouri right now, we need you to be in your basement. If you don't have a basement, a lowest, most interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, okay? So the lowest, most interior room of your home if you do not have a basement. If you live in Sullivan, Missouri, very dangerous storm ongoing here. And let's look at the latest scan of the rotation, and you can see it's been pretty broad. It was actually a little stronger back northwest of Cuba. It has stayed pretty broad here for the last few scans, so that's some good news. Hopefully that remains the case, because that means that we will not have a tornado if the rotation stays broad. But if it starts to tighten up and those reds and greens come closer together, that means that a tornado would likely be beginning to develop. So we will watch our friends down here near Cuba, Missouri, and Sullivan, Missouri. This is right just to the west there of I-44. Also impacted Bourbon and Leesburg. So if you are in Bourbon as well, this is your immediate impacts here from the storm very soon if you live in Bourbon. So it's going to go through Bourbon here and into Sullivan very soon in the next few minutes. And we're going to keep up with this. Very nice hail core on this. If I can show you here the vertically integrated liquid. This basically just shows you the very cold air aloft, and this shows you where the hail core would be. Very big hail core with this storm. Where you see the grays and whites here, just to the west of Sullivan, that's where we could be seeing those tennis ball size hailstones in excess of 2 inches in diameter. So that could do a lot of damage to your vehicle. That could do a lot of damage to your truck, your car, your home. And it could do a lot of damage to you as well. It could injure you if you go outside. Tennis ball size hail is very dangerous. So we'll definitely keep a very close eye on this storm. All right, so let's answer more questions that we have here. We got a question from Lauren about Bowling Green, Kentucky. So let's go over here towards Bowling Green, Kentucky. Let's bring up the outlook for severe weather here. And there's Bowling Green there in southwestern Kentucky. Again, we're going to keep very close tabs on that tornado warning, but we want to look at the outlook here. So for Bowling Green, you are in the max level of risk for today. So far, we have a level 4 out of 5. You have a moderate risk of severe weather in Bowling Green, Kentucky today. This does include the threat for some strong tornadoes. So if you're in Bowling Green, you are right in the middle of that 10% hatched risk for tornadoes. This could include an EF2 strength tornado or larger. So we are definitely keeping a very close eye on Bowling Green. In addition to the tornado threat, you have a 45% chance of wind gusts over 75 miles per hour today in Bowling Green, and also the threat for some hail that could be over hen egg size. So we're talking hen egg size or larger. You have a 30% probability of that there in Bowling Green today. Again, just joining, we're doing live tornado outbreak coverage. Thank you all for joining here on this Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon now on the East Coast, as it is 11:20 Central Time, 12:20 Eastern. So thank you all for joining. If you are joining, make sure to smash that like button below. Subscribe here to my channel, Weather on the Go, so you get the latest weather forecast information right at your fingertips. If you are subscribed here to this channel, you should be notified when we go live today or in the future, and also for my videos today and in the future. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. Thomaston, Georgia. Todd, you may have some severe weather as we go into Thursday. We'll keep a close tabs on for that. Do you have a time frame on Northeast Texas? Dustin asks. Let's move down here towards Northeast Texas. You do not have any severe weather currently, but you do have a threat for severe weather there in Northeast Texas. So let's go to the categorical outlook and show you what you could see here. So basically areas east and northeast of Dallas-Fort Worth, outside of the Metroplex here, towards places here like Sulphur Springs, Paris, Texas, and Texarkana, you guys are all under an enhanced risk for severe weather. That's a level 3 out of 5 on the risk scale there in Northeast Texas today. The risk for tornadoes is there. You have a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point here from Dallas, Texas, up there toward Texarkana. You do have a pretty significant chance for hail today. I know we had a lot of big hail in Texas with a lot of our severe weather events so far this season. You do have a 30% chance of some hen egg size hail or larger. That would be your 2-inch diameter hailstone or larger. And then 30% chance also of those hurricane force wind gusts. Okay, so we're looking at over 75 mile per hour winds possibly in much of Northeast Texas. And this does actually include the Dallas-Fort Worth, McKinney, and Plano area there into North Texas. So we'll keep a very close eye on that region as well. Again, just joining, make sure to smash the like button. Again, Andrea, please do not spam my chat. I'll have to time you out if you do that. Please do not do that. Folks, remember, we have a lot of people here that are wanting answers to their questions. If spamming the chat does not help, it actually makes it a lot harder for me. So make sure to not spam the chat, please. Thank you. Make my life easier. Make your life easier. Thank you. Appreciate it. I see your question there. What about Chapel Hill, Tennessee? So again, we're going to go over here and we're going to look at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. I will see your questions. Bear with me here, folks. We got a lot of people here in the live stream. So Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Yes, so you are just to the south of Nashville. You are in the moderate risk of severe weather. So in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, you are in a moderate risk of severe storms. That's a max level for the day today, not a max level high risk or anything, but you do have a 4 out of 5. So that is a pretty formidable chance for severe weather. You do have a 10% chance of a tornado there in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. You have a 45% chance of hurricane force wind gusts. That's 75 miles per hour or greater. And then we also do have the chance for hail that could be over hen egg size. You have a 45% probability 30% probability for that as well. 45% just to your north and west. So essentially what I'm saying is that you have a chance for everything today. Everything's on the table. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, possibly some very strong winds over 75 miles per hour and strong tornadoes there in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Yeah, Eastern Tennessee, we got some storms over here just between Knoxville and Johnson City, close to Asheville, North Carolina here. If we turn the radar on over here, these storms are not as strong as the ones in Missouri, but still capable of those 60 mile per hour wind gusts and $quarter to $half size hail. So as long as you guys move indoors and away from windows outside here, you guys should be good. And again, we're still monitoring that tornado warning up here. Again, we will answer more questions in just a moment. We do have a tornado warning ongoing here into portions of southeastern Missouri. This is just southwest of St. Louis. Looking at the latest velocity scans here. Again, very broad rotation. Great news here. We do not want to see a tornado. We're keeping a very close eye on areas into Bourbon and Sullivan here. Those are the areas downstream that could start to see a tornado develop with this storm if it strengthens a little bit further. Looking at the CCs, the correlation coefficient, there is nothing that suggests this is on the ground, so it's radar indicated tornado warning. It was producing tennis ball size hail, still producing golf ball size hail right now, so a pretty strong storm here. Very strong echo tops. These storms are shooting up to 52,000 feet tall. So almost a mile up in the atmosphere right now. Very strong storm here in southeastern Missouri. And we're going to keep very close tabs on that. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning down here, just to the north and east of Cape Girardeau. This thunderstorm is also very strong near Anna for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch quarter-size hail for the next 13 minutes. This storm will be heading toward Creel Springs and Vienna in southern Illinois, okay? So we'll be keeping a very close eye on that as well. So those are just kind of some of the warnings that are live right now on the radar. We'll keep tabs on everything that you need to know here right on this live stream. Let's keep answering questions here. So I see Roanoke, Virginia. So let's go over here to Virginia. We haven't talked about that yet. Roanoke, Virginia, you probably won't see any severe weather until very late, if not early tomorrow morning, before these storms reach you. But you are currently in Roanoke in a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5 for severe weather. Sorry about that. You have a level 2 out of 5, slight risk for severe weather there in Roanoke, Virginia. And you do have a threat for tornadoes today. You have a 2% chance of a tornado, but where there is a number, there is a risk. So you do have a chance of a tornado today, even though it's a 2%. You do have a 15% probability today in Roanoke, Virginia for 60-plus mile-per-hour winds and hail. 15% chance of quarter-size hail or larger. So we need to be watching out for that there in Roanoke as we go through the day. Into tomorrow, Roanoke, you are also in the slight risk, right on the line between marginal and slight risk tomorrow for all hazards. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. If we're looking at let's go to the HRRR model here. Let's kind of broaden this out a little bit and kind of show you, zoom it out and show you the timing of some of these storms in some of the bigger cities across portions of the mid-Mississippi Valley toward the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the East Coast here. So storms ongoing. This is the latest update from the HRRR model. Again, this is just a simulation. It's not to be taken verbatim. Things can happen sometimes that are not exactly what this model shows. So I did want to put that out there, that this model is not perfect. It just gives you a very good idea of what the radar could look like in the next few hours to the next several hours, okay? So going through the 1 o'clock time frame is doing a very good job of showing storms in Missouri. So those intense storms we're seeing with that tornado warning and those tennis ball, even golf ball size hailstones back here in Missouri, south and west of St. Louis, already showing that on the model here. It's showing more storms lighting up down here toward the Tennessee Valley from the Cumberland Plateau over here toward Crossville, all the way back there toward the Music City in Nashville, and then into the Bowling Green area and Paducah, Kentucky. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on those storms. Those would be more discrete storms or semi-discrete, so that means they will have a better potential to produce strong tornadoes. So we need to be very aware of that as we go through the rest of the early afternoon here. That's at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock here in about an hour and a half Central Time. As we go into 3 o'clock this afternoon, big storms rolling through St. Louis. So if you live in St. Louis, 3 o'clock this afternoon, big time storms moving through with damaging wind potential, very large hail, and a stronger tornado potential there. Notice the bigger storms through western and central Kentucky into northern Tennessee, parts of southern Illinois and Indiana here, starting to bubble up a lot stronger as we go in towards the 3 o'clock hour. These storms will be capable of producing strong tornadoes, much like we saw in lower Michigan yesterday. We are seeing that potential down here further south today. So we need to be on high alert if you live into southern Illinois, into southern Indiana, and west central and southern Kentucky, and also like middle and northern Tennessee there. Have to be on high alert for those around 3 o'clock. Moving the time stamp a little bit further here, going to 5 o'clock here this evening. Notice we start to see a lot more of these storms bubbling up. Hopefully that's the case, because if we get more storms kind of moving together in tandem, we have a lot less room for supercells, those discrete storms that produce tornadoes. We have a lot more of what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system. That would be best case scenario today, is that we have a big line of storms versus supercells that produce tornadoes. We want storms that are in lines today. We don't want storms that are by themselves today. If the storm is by themselves, like some of these models are showing near Memphis, near Jackson and Clarksville back here into western Tennessee, those could produce big hail and big tornadoes. So we need to keep a very close eye on that as we go into late afternoon. This is 5 o'clock. So hopefully we see that. We got a little bit of an MCS developing here from Mount Vernon, Illinois, back here towards St. Louis and north and west of Cape Girardeau by 5 o'clock. Those are with those storms kind of growing more upscale. And then as the low-level jet starts to kick up after around sunrise and then thereafter, we'll start to see more of clustering of storms, and hopefully that is the case here across the Ohio-Tennessee River Valley. But I am still concerned that ahead of the main cluster, ahead of the main line, we could be seeing these discrete or semi-discrete supercells through Tennessee, through Kentucky, into the Western Carolinas, and then even back building back here. So we need to keep a very close eye by early evening into southern Missouri, into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and into Texas, like the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Austin. We could very well see tornadoes as far south and west as those areas today as well. So a lot of areas impacted here. A lot of areas impacted. So that's kind of the general timing. So I'll back it up again and kind of show you. So 2 o'clock this afternoon, we got a little bit of a mesoscale convective system or upscale growth across Missouri into southwestern Illinois. That would promote more of a damaging wind and hail risk, but tornadoes will still be possible. Spin up tornadoes on the leading edge of the line. Discrete, semi-discrete supercells, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, Kentucky into Tennessee, and more storms again throughout across portions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. We need to watch those. That will be discrete. They could produce tornadoes by about 2 o'clock. Going to 4 o'clock, late afternoon, 5 o'clock, we're seeing that mesoscale convective system start to organize into southern Illinois. That will bring more of a widespread wind damage threat with hail and potentially some spin-up tornadoes. We're watching a little bit more of clustering going on across Kentucky into Tennessee here. As we go into the early evening, we're seeing a bunch of clusters of storms that will produce a lot of wind and hail here in the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley. Some tornadoes possible as well. 1 or 2 of those could be strong. We are also watching some of these storms back here towards Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri again as we go into 8 o'clock this evening. Those storms would pose a risk for all hazards, hail, wind, and tornadoes. A couple strong tornadoes, especially up here toward Missouri and Arkansas, may be possible. And then as we go toward midnight, notice we have a lot of these storms, congealing together. This means a widespread damaging wind threat through Tennessee is going to be expected. I do think most of the state of Tennessee will see some type of thunderstorm today, okay? So I would say 95% of you in the state of Tennessee will see a type of thunderstorm, whether that's a general thunderstorm today, a severe thunderstorm, or a tornadic thunderstorm that produces tornadoes. You will see some type of storm, 95% of us most likely by midnight here in Tennessee. So we're definitely keeping a very close eye on that. And then going after midnight, these storms will be rumbling through portions of the Tennessee Valley and into the Carolinas. So notice how I talked about how Roanoke, Virginia won't see storms till late. I do think that after midnight is your best threat of seeing some showers and storms. This will have a tendency to drop further south than move east because the instability is stronger down here across Dixie Alley than it is across Virginia and the Carolinas. So a lot of times mesoscale convective systems actually tend to move east and then drop south toward the better instability. It's kind of like thunderstorm food, right? It's fuel for thunderstorms. For storms to survive, they need to feed off of instability. So what's actually likely to happen here is we're going to see storms that are going to develop up here in Missouri like they are now. They're going to congeal into a big old cluster, what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system. They'll drop east-southeast, but then eventually drop towards the south as we go deeper into the evening, as we see more of that instability stronger down into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and less instability over here. Still a threat for severe weather over here, but more instability further south across Dixie Alley. So we're keeping a very close eye on that. Thanks, Zachary Smith, for the $9.99. Thank you for everything you do. I work outside in South St. Louis, and work is shutting us down at 2 o'clock. Probably a good call there. It's good to take precautions, especially for higher end days, upper echelon severe weather events, much like we see today. We do have a moderate risk, so that is probably a good idea, as storms are already entering into towards the St. Louis area, just south of there now. Again, let's go back here to the radar real quick, and we'll answer a few more questions afterwards. Still monitoring a tornado warning here near Sullivan, Missouri. This is just radar indicated, still capable of quarter-size hail for the next 3 minutes. We have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here south and west of St. Louis. This does include St. Clair and over here into the Lone area and then moving east towards Scottsdale and Cedar Hill Lakes. So if you live in those areas, be prepared now for the threat for some damaging winds of 60 miles per hour and some golf ball size hail. All right, so they did not allow that to expire. They did allow the first one to expire, but they have now added a new tornado warning areas east of Sullivan for the next 30 minutes or so for radar indicated tornado and also some quarter size hail. So let's look at the velocity here with this storm right now as it is crossing through the Sullivan area in southeast Missouri. Again, this is all relative to St. Louis. This is southwest of the metro St. Louis region. So we are seeing a area of rotation, very broad there, moving through Sullivan. We'll keep a very close eye on that. Precautionary tornado warning east of Sullivan. This does include Monday, Huff, Lubering, and also toward the Fletcher region. Okay, so we're keeping a very close eye on that. The rotation, the rotating part of the storm would be moving towards Monday and toward Huff very soon. So if you live in Monday, Missouri or Huff, Missouri, that rotation will be moving in your general direction over the next 20 to 30 minutes. We need to keep a very close eye on that threat. Middle Tennessee here. Yes, Middle Tennessee, you have a threat for severe weather today. There's nothing to be concerned about. You guys just need to be weather aware. Don't be overly concerned about severe weather today. You need to be, prepared for severe weather, but there's no reason to be, overly concerned about severe weather. It is a moderate risk day. I get it. It's an upper echelon type of severe weather event today. We need to be, on guard for the potential for severe weather. We need to be on our toes. And weather aware today. So, but there's no reason to be, overly concerned right now in Tennessee. There's no severe weather in Tennessee except for over here east of Knoxville. Those are mainly 60 mile per hour wind and quarter to $half size hail producers between Johnson City and down here getting closer to Asheville, North Carolina. So we're keeping a very close eye on all of these storms for you folks while we are live here with live tornado outbreak coverage here today. Again, if you are here, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to Weather on the Go. Our video just came out earlier on today on the main channel, and it will be coming out. It actually is out on the second channel here, so I'll post the second channel link in the top of the live stream chat. If you guys want to go check out that video whenever, you guys can subscribe to the second channel as well. I should have done that earlier, to be honest, but that is okay. So I'm going to post that real quick for you folks at the top of the chat so you guys can go check that out. If you live in the north central U.S., great video for detailed coverage across the north central U.S. We'll have that for you. Here, just copying it over and pasting it here, so just give me 1 second. This is my second channel that I do. I do the videos on these on the second channel Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and weekends if needed. Like if there's higher impact weather, of course we'll do it. So I just posted that. It's at the top of the chat now. So if you live in the north central U.S., the Midwest, the upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, north central plains, make sure to go sub up to that channel as well. We have a video that just came out a few minutes ago as well on that one. And a lot of great stuff on there. So appreciate that. And make sure to sub up here to this channel, Weather on the Go, as well. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Again, we just wanted to take care of that real quick for you. How's everybody doing today? They having a great Wednesday out there so far? Everybody having a great Wednesday, middle of the week? Hopefully everybody's having a great week out there so far. We had some hail yesterday. If you were live, on my live stream, if you were live with me yesterday, we had some hail outside my window around almost quarter size or so. We definitely had a lot of that going on yesterday. St. Louis, yeah, St. Louis right now. I see a question about St. Louis there from Kaylee in the chat. There are severe weather storms and actually a tornadic thunderstorm just to the south and west of St. Louis. Right now, Metro St. Louis is dry, or at least clear from severe weather. Let's look at the latest radar here for St. Louis. So yeah, St. Louis is completely dry right now. Supercell thunderstorm just to your south and west. I'd be watching it, especially on the southern side of the metro. The northern side of the metro is fine, especially over the, most of the St. Louis metro is fine for the next several minutes. So we're not too concerned about St. Louis as of right now. But it is also a good idea to just make sure you are monitoring the weather if you are in St. Louis, Wentzville, or Alton today as well, in the O'Fallon region on the east side there of St. Louis into the Illinois side. Always good to do that. Yeah, Andrew, Nashville is in the bullseye today. Yeah, Nashville is in a moderate risk of severe weather today. And in that area, you do have a 10% chance of tornadoes, strong tornadoes in Nashville later on this afternoon and this evening. So yes, if you live in the Music City of Nashville, up there towards Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Clarksville, Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, east down I-40 to Cookville and Crossville toward the Harriman region, you guys are all in a 10% risk of strong tornadoes today. So make sure you are being weather aware, even if you are in Tennessee and you're wondering where the storms are in Tennessee or where the storms are in southern Indiana and Kentucky. They're coming, folks. These storms are just now initiating in Missouri, and they will be on their way down a stream moving southeast today over the next several hours. So it's kind of a waiting game right now. And again, we could also have storms back further west here into Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas and East Texas, and then into northern Louisiana and stuff like that. A lot of these storms down in like northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, North Georgia, and the Carolinas and Virginia and all these areas to the south and east, you guys won't see storms until late today. I'm talking after dark, most likely. So like towards midnight and then thereafter. A lot of the severe weather, the peak of the severe weather event will not hit you until after midnight in a lot of those areas further south toward Dixie Alley and stuff like that. Travis is asking about Indianapolis. I don't think Indianapolis is not going to see the most significant severe weather today. If we're looking at the risk there in Indianapolis, you are in a slight risk for severe weather today. In the Indianapolis area, so that means you have a chance for some strong storms, but it's not as intense as yesterday. You have a 2% chance of tornado Indianapolis Metro South. If you're going north out of Indianapolis toward Lafayette or Muncie or even Fort Wayne, you guys are out of that tornado risk altogether. For Indianapolis, the wind threat for you have a 15% chance of some winds over 60 miles per hour. And then the hail threat for you there in Indianapolis, you have also 15% chance of quarter-size hail or larger. So that's kind of the risk we're looking at there in the Indianapolis region. Again, folks, just here, all 600 of you. We don't have 600 likes yet. Make sure, if you are here, to press the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you covered. All right, let's get back down to this tornado warning again. We're keeping very close tabs on this tornado warning here today. Just to the south and west of Metro St. Louis. Supercell thunderstorm. So far, there have been no confirmations of this tornado ever touching the ground. So there's no tornado on the ground here at all. This is just radar indicated rotation. And you can see it's very broad. It's actually a lot weaker than it was when it passed through Sullivan and just west of Sullivan. So hopefully that continues. And if this continues east, it's going to be moving into areas of Monday and Huff. So we're watching Monday, Missouri and Huff, Missouri very closely here with this tornado warned storm. Again, this is radar indicated. Severe thunderstorm warning to the north there. Just north and west of Festus, Missouri, that is on the river. We have a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and golf ball size hail potential there for St. Clair. This does also include Lonedale Grubbville, Cedar Hill Lakes, Hillsboro up to Scottsdale, and Stanton. So if you live in those areas, you do have a threat for some golf ball size hail and some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for you there. And again, these storms are very tall. These storms are getting taller by the minute. We have these storm up to 54,000 feet tall now to the east of Sullivan. So it was just 52,000 feet. Now it's 54,000 feet. So the taller these storms get, the echo tops, the overshooting tops, you call the anvil of the storm, as it gets taller, the more the potential the storm will be to get stronger and produce tornadoes and very big hail. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that. And it looks like if this continues east, it'll go mainly well south of the St. Louis metro area. Shannon in southeastern Iowa. So yes, Shannon's up here in southeastern Iowa region. I'm not concerned about southeastern Iowa today. The severe weather is well to your south. You do have a marginal risk of severe weather in southeastern Iowa. Most of the state of Iowa is actually under that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk. But I think the main threat here is going to be if any severe weather occurs in Iowa, it would be wind and hail, but a tornado threat is there. So we are monitoring that, especially for areas, not so much in southeast Iowa, but more of central and northern Iowa. So we're looking at more of like Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Des Moines, and Ames, and then up here toward like Sioux City, Fort Dodge, and then up towards Sioux Falls. So those areas there. The tornado threat is greatest mainly along and north and west of the I-80 corridor there in Iowa, closer to the track of that surface low. Thanks again, Zachary Smith coming in with the $4.99. Local weather is saying that the tornado warning has a brief tornado touchdown. Got it. I didn't see it. It may have. There was a strong rotation there just west of Sullivan. So let me take this outlook off. There was strong rotation there just west of Sullivan, Missouri. Again, this is just southwest of St. Louis Metro. If you guys are not aware of where we're at here, this is just southwest of the St. Louis Metro in southeast Missouri. I mean, look at that hail core over here. Just to the south of St. Clair, between Sullivan and St. Clair, big hail happening right here. We have some at least golf ball size hail, if not larger, with this storm. You can see the blues and purples showing up here. We're going to look at the velocity scans again. Again, this is very broad rotation. I do think that maybe we did have a tornado. Let me actually back up the frames here a little bit. Let's see if we can go 14 frames back. So I think the tornado may have occurred maybe just back here north of Cuba. Maybe if there were to be a brief touchdown from this storm. That is, again, very unofficial right now. We'll have to wait and see, but there is very broad rotation. It's kind of a little more linear right now, so that's some great news. So hopefully this tornado warning is allowed to expire or be canceled pretty soon as it gets closer toward Festus, Missouri. Keep a little bit closer tabs on that storm for sure. We do have some stronger storms down here, not severe warned, but near Chester, Carbondale, Carrier Mills, down toward Anna. These storms were severe. One of those were earlier. They are not anymore. We just have some normal rain showers moving through the Illinois state capital region of Springfield right now and back toward Jacksonville, Illinois, and even Taylorville and Auburn, Petersburg, Lincoln, Illinois. So if you guys are up watching me from South Central Illinois and wondering what's happening up there towards Springfield, you guys are just seeing some normal light to moderate rain showers currently at this time. No severe weather for you right now. I can cover Arkansas again. We haven't talked much about Arkansas. So the Little Rock area, yes, you are at risk for severe weather. We'll look at some of the bigger cities in here for today. We have questions about that in the chat. Most of the state of Arkansas is under an enhanced risk. That's a level 3 out of 5 on the risk scale. Jonesboro, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, getting it back to Fort Smith, Fayetteville, and Rogers. And then also down here into, I'll say a couple smaller cities like Hot Springs, Conway, Newport, up to Batesville, Mountain Home, and Cherokee Village. All those areas, some of these areas impacted even into southern portions of Arkansas. Camden, Hope, Texarkana, some of these areas you do have a enhanced risk of severe weather. And you do have a threat for tornadoes. All modes of severe weather in play here in Arkansas. you do have a 5% chance. Most of the state has a 5% chance of a tornado here. And again, it includes Little Rock, Conway, Jonesboro, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Hot Springs, and Pine Bluffs. We do have a very small sliver of maybe a county or two in extreme northeastern Arkansas, up near the Missouri-Arkansas state line there toward the foothills region of southeast Missouri, that does have a 10% risk of a strong tornado. That is north of Jonesboro. We'll keep a very close eye on that area, especially the further north you go in Arkansas. And again, it happens all the time, folks. Just because you don't see a hatched risk of tornadoes and you're saying to yourself, well, there's a 5% chance of a tornado in Little Rock, we're not going to have a strong tornado today. That is incorrect. If there's a tornado, a tornado could become strong anywhere. So we could even have a strong tornado into the Carolinas today, for example. So even if you're in a 2% chance of a tornado today, you need to be on high alert for the potential for that to happen. So make sure you are all weather aware. We have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings. A NOAA weather radio, I preach this all the time. A NOAA weather radio is one of the best tools to have to wake you up. If you are taking a nap this afternoon, for example, or if you're doing something and you're getting busy doing chores around the house or something, a NOAA weather radio is a great tool to have to alert you for a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning in your county. It should be programmed to the county in which you live in. So hopefully you all that are watching, at least some of you, have weather radios. If you don't, make sure that you do the next time we have severe weather, because they are a great tool to have. I highly recommend that you purchase one. They should be pretty cheap purchases. Thank you, Nina, for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see here. You're welcome, Angel. Fahrenheit has one. Good. That's a good thing to have. Weather radio is a very, very good tool to have. I absolutely agree there. So just rain in Carbondale right now. Yeah, just rain down there. There's some thunderstorms down there near Carbondale, but no severe weather currently. No warnings. The only warnings right now are in southeast Missouri, southwest of the St. Louis metro area, and I can take this outlook off real quick. And also just to the east of Knoxville and south of Johnson City, getting very close to Asheville. We'll kind of check into the Asheville region with these storms real quick, since we haven't looked at these too much. These are some weaker severe thunderstorms. Obviously, a severe thunderstorm is a severe thunderstorm, but right now we're only seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter to $half size hail with these storms north and west of Asheville. If we put this in motion, you can see these storms will generally be moving towards Asheville, or maybe just north of Asheville, North Carolina, over the next couple of hours, and it's very possible these just weaken out. So the main severe weather event up here today is going to start in Missouri, and it will trickle downstream. So if you're watching me, again, from Kentucky or Tennessee, and you've already had a storm today, that is not your main event. We have a long ways to go. The storm complex is just now beginning to develop in Missouri and will be swinging through the evening and overnight hours in Tennessee. Like I said earlier, most of the state of Tennessee today should see at least a general garden variety thunderstorm at the very least. If we go back over here to let's see how loaded in this is. This is just coming in. So go back to the 15ZH-RRR model. Again, this is a simulation of what the radar could look like over the next several hours. You can see a clustering of showers and storms back here in Missouri. 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then we see more supercellular structures over here into Kentucky and Tennessee. These storms into Tennessee and Kentucky that are supercellular, that are by themselves or semi-discrete, those would be able to produce some tornadoes, even some stronger EF2, EF3 caliber tornadoes later on today. So we'll keep a very close tabs on that as well. But the main event is still back here into portions of the St. Louis metro, back towards Springfield, Missouri. Going into 4-5 o'clock, we see a mesoscale convective system begin to develop in southern Illinois and southeastern Missouri into the Ozarks region. That would pose a risk for mainly widespread wind damage across portions of the southern Illinois vicinity. So we'll keep a very close eye on that as well. My cat is trying to decide whether or not she wants to either scratch on my door or she wants to come in. So sorry about that. Yes, so mesoscale convective system in southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri. We'll keep a close eye on that. Widespread wind damage will be possible. Some spin-up tornadoes will be possible by late afternoon there. We'll still keep tabs on all these storms. Very messy mode of severe weather through Kentucky and Tennessee, but watch this. You see these big line of storms come through much of southern Kentucky and Tennessee. This would be a big wind maker, very heavy rain. There is, in addition to the severe weather threat today, moderate risk for also flash flooding. So not only is there a moderate risk for severe weather, there's also a moderate risk for flash flooding. So let's bring that up here real quick for you folks and show you the areas that could have the most significant flash flooding risk today as well. Let's look at the hydrological outlook from our friends over at the Weather Prediction Center putting these outlooks out. And you can see there is a moderate risk for flash flooding today into portions of Kentucky and down into middle and eastern Tennessee. So if you live in Nashville, you're right in the middle of that. If you live in Clarksville, you're right in the middle of that as well. So these areas not only have a moderate risk of severe weather with damaging winds, large to very large hail, and strong tornadoes, but a pretty serious threat for some flash flooding today as well. And we can look at the rainfall amounts that we're going to be seeing today. You can see total rainfall accumulation will be up there. I mean, we're going to be talking some pretty heavy rainfall here. You can see there are areas in that moderate risk of flash flooding potential, like say north and east of Nashville, for example, that could see up to 7-8 inches of rain just within the next 12 hours. That's why there is a moderate risk for flash flooding here. So we need to be very careful here if you are traveling. And again, later on today, this is very hilly terrain. I have actually been down to eastern Tennessee before. My aunt lives down here. It's very hilly. The Smoky Mountains are down here. Very hilly terrain between Nashville and Knoxville, so a lot of runoff from the water. And if we get 7 inches of rain in a very hilly terrain, you guys only know what could happen here. So we need to keep on high alert there, not only for severe weather, but also for flash flooding potential as well. If you are here and joining or have been here, make sure to subscribe to my channel here at Weather on the Go so you have the latest weather information right at your fingertips. We'll keep you covered all throughout the year with severe weather, tropical weather, including hurricanes and hurricane live streams, winter weather for winter storm coverage, also ice storm coverage, polar vortex coverage, everything. We'll cover it all here on this channel. I cover southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics right here on this channel. And if you want to subscribe to my second channel, North Central Weather Center, if you live in the North Central United States, go subscribe over to that channel as well. I just posted a video this morning, a little bit ago, on there. I appreciate it. You might see my cat behind me, so she's very curious. She's very curious. She's scratching out my door for the longest time and wanting in, so I figured, I'll just let her in. I think the worst weather today in Kentucky will actually be southern Kentucky, so from Paducah to Hopkinsville to Bowling Green, Campbellsville, Somerset over here to London, Corbin. You guys are going to see probably the most impactful weather from this storm system today, with not only a severe weather standpoint, but also from a rainfall standpoint as well. You guys could have some very heavy rainfall. Like I said, very heavy rain out here across these areas. So let's get back here and look at... Let's get back to the radar. Let's look at the latest warnings here from the St. Louis area. We have a tornado warning ongoing here. This is, again, now producing, once more, tennis ball size hail here. So if you live in the city of Monday, Missouri, Huff, Missouri, Lubering, or over here toward Fletcher, make sure you are indoors. You have to be indoors for this because A, you have a tornado warning. You should be in a basement or a lowest, most interior room, or B, there is tennis ball size hail happening likely with the storm hail core just to the south of St. Clair. This is a very big storm, okay? So this is definitely capable of producing some very big hail here. You can see the vertically integrated liquid. This is basically showing you where the very heavy rain is and where the very, very strong part of this storm is. And you can see just south of St. Clair and east of Sullivan, Missouri, is where this is occurring. So if you are in these vicinities, make sure you are indoors and away from windows. You know, we're seeing literally tennis ball size hail with this storm. And these storms, again, are very tall, over 50,000 feet tall. They are most certainly capable of producing these very big hailstones today. And you're going to notice that with a lot of these storms today, they're going to be 50, 60,000 feet tall. And when you get a storm that tall, you definitely are going to see some big hail. Because as you think about it, the atmosphere is in layers, right? We live in the very bottom part of the atmosphere, at the surface of the earth, right? So it's usually warmer at the surface of the earth. As you go up into the altitude, in through the atmosphere, it naturally cools. The faster it cools, the stronger our hail cores will be today. There is a very cold pocket, very strong cold pocket aloft associated with our trough today that is actually going to help these hailstorms become more significant here. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Here, just 1 second, folks. Just 1 second. All right, sorry about that. My cat is being very, very annoying today. She's usually not this annoying. She's back there climbing on my curtains, and I'm trying to go live and talk about severe weather today, so not a very good ideal scenario there. All right, so let's see here. What are you thinking for the Munfordville, Kentucky region? I don't know where Munfordville is, but I'll tell you this. If you live in Kentucky, you definitely have a chance for severe weather today. So we'll just say that. If you live in the state of Kentucky today, especially southern Kentucky, you have the threat for significant severe weather. We have a severe thunderstorm warning here that we want to look at near Hopkinsville. This is a severe warned storm just to the south of Hopkinsville, moving into Hopkinsville over the next few minutes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So if you live in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, it's just about to enter into the city circle there, and it's just north of Interstate 24. It's going to be moving to the north and east into Hopkinsville in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So be ready for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail there. Cats will be cats, I know, right? Cats will be annoying sometimes. They're awesome animals, I'll tell you that. They're very awesome animals, but sometimes they are just absolutely annoying. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. But I guess you could say the same thing about dogs sometimes too, so. This is Radar Omega. That's the app that I'm using, so. All right, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to do so. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers, folks. If you want to subscribe, every single one of you into the live stream right now, if you have not subscribed, make sure to do so. We have another video coming out tomorrow morning talking more about severe weather on Thursday, the Mother's Day weekend forecast with temperatures and precipitation, and looking into next week as more severe weather may be possible as well. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. We do have a little bit of some... Let's look here at the velocity with this, because it looks like we may start to see some stronger rotation develop here just to the east of Sullivan, heading towards Fletcher. So if you live in Fletcher, Missouri, be on the lookout for this. We may have a little bit of some strengthening of... it's very broad right now. We'll say that. A new scan just came in. Very broad, but it's something to keep in mind here. We definitely could be seeing some pretty strong winds with this for sure, some big hail, but we also could be seeing some tornadic development as well with this. And this is, again, unfortunately moving towards DeSoto and Festus, Missouri as well. We'll keep a very close eye on that. Owensboro, Kentucky. Owensboro. I don't know where Owensboro is. I want to say there's Owensboro. You're up near the Ohio. Yeah, you're up near the Ohio River there. You are in a level. You have a chance for severe weather either way, but you're in a level 3 out of 5. So, again, regardless of your category today, folks, if you're in a marginal risk in the dark green, if you're in a slight risk in the yellow, if you're in an orange enhanced risk area, if you're in a red moderate risk, doesn't matter. You have a chance for severe weather. So, even Chicago, Illinois, you are in a marginal risk. You have a chance for severe weather. You need to be weather aware there. Indianapolis, same thing. Cincinnati, same thing. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, same thing. Sioux Falls, up here in towards South Dakota, same thing. You're in a marginal risk. You need to be weather aware today. Definitely need to be weather aware. Yeah, you're welcome, Christy. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Bowling Green, Kentucky. The Bowling Green area is quiet right now. There's not much happening in Bowling Green. There's a severe storm well to your west entering into Hopkinsville right now. But other than that, we are seeing a couple showers, like maybe a thunderstorm to your south or southeast. Other than that, there's nothing happening in Bowling Green yet, but storms will be moving in later. The Knoxville area, again, Knoxville, not really seeing too much intense weather right now. You have some showers and storms in the vicinity, some heavier thunderstorms toward Harriman and Lenoir City. Other than that, there's nothing that is, too significant there for Knoxville. Maybe just some showers the next couple hours. The more significant weather won't be coming until late this evening or overnight. So this will probably be mostly after dark. For Knoxville for severe weather potential. Yeah, Springfield, Missouri, you're in a risk today. Additional storms may develop a little bit later in Springfield, Missouri. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. And let me look here at the HRRR here and see how much it's loaded in. So, Springfield, Missouri here, if you see it on your screen, there could be more storms developing to your north and west that could push through between mid-afternoon and early evening, so between 3 o'clock and like 8 o'clock. Other than that, we're keeping a very close eye over the next couple hours before we get to 3 o'clock here. But there definitely could be some supercells that could produce all modes of severe weather. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes there in Springfield, Missouri over the next couple of hours, but the main show won't start until probably after 3 o'clock. So between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. is the main time frame to be aware of there in the Springfield, Missouri region. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma is really, I'm not too concerned about Tulsa today. There could be some strong storms right over your area or maybe just to the east. I think the strongest storms will be probably more in toward like the Fayetteville, Rogers, and Fort Smith area. Storms may initiate near Tulsa and then push east very quickly. So you have a very brief window today. I would say your window of opportunity in Tulsa is between 3 and 6. You have like a 2 or 3 hour period of severe weather potential. Other than that, Tulsa, you should be fine after. Besides that, so keep a very close eye on it. Christine with the Washington, D.C. Metro. Washington, D.C., you're not really expecting much today. Your severe weather risk in Washington, D.C. is a marginal risk. Again, if you are in a risk, make sure to be weather aware regardless. You're in a marginal risk today. You are also in a slight risk tomorrow. So you have a slightly better chance of severe weather in D.C. tomorrow than you do today. So Thursday is mainly your day for severe weather over there in Washington, D.C. area. Jackson, Tennessee. Yeah, Jackson, Tennessee, you need to be watching storms. Timing for you. Again, we're just kind of going over the timing of some of your cities. So put your cities in the chat. We'll go over some of the timing and when you can expect storms. So Jackson, Tennessee, after 3 o'clock, you could have a couple storms rumbling through. Let me go back to the 15Z run. Between about 3 o'clock And I would say it looks like the most widespread storms don't come through until after midnight. But so literally 3 o'clock is the start time and 3 a.m. is probably the end time. So you have like a 12-hour window to worry about severe weather there in Jackson, Tennessee. And same thing for like Memphis and Clarksville. You guys have like a 12-hour window to watch. Isolated supercells we need to watch probably late afternoon, early evening into Jackson, Tennessee. Those would pose a risk more for strong tornado potential in that moderate risk zone. And then as we go later on into the night with that low-level jet kicking up, while we could still have strong tornadoes overnight, I think widespread damaging winds over 75 miles an hour and some big hail, like over 2 inches in diameter in Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, and Nashville and all these areas will be after midnight. So keep a very close eye on that. Like I said, most of Tennessee today is likely to see some type of a thunderstorm. So that's what we're seeing. Most of Tennessee has some type of a thunderstorm chance for today. Let's see here. I'm just looking for seeing if there's any storm reports that are coming in here currently to I think we got a new tornado warning, but storm reports coming in from the storms there in Missouri. That's what I'm looking for. So let me look real quick here. All right. Let's see here. St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis, you're fine right now. You just got a severe storm just to your south. Let's get back to the radar here and look at this new tornado warning that just came out here for areas south of St. Louis. Wow, look at this supercell. I mean, this is including, this now includes areas of DeSoto and Festus, Missouri. So if you live in that area, make sure you're in a basement right now. This hail core is moving right through Huff, Lubering, and also Lonedale, and then over toward Grubbville over the next few minutes. That's with the hail core. So the hail core is moving over Huff, Lubering, Lonedale, and Grubbville, and then up there towards Cedar Hill Lakes, and then toward Hillsboro. The rotating part of the storm is heading towards Fletcher, DeSoto, and then has its eyes set on Festus, Missouri. So that is where the rotating part of the storm looks like it's heading right now. And the hail core is getting a lot stronger. We have the potential for baseball size hail, folks. 2.75 inch hailstones, baseball size hail with this storm here south and west of the metro St. Louis area. Very big supercell here. Now let's look at the velocity here with this. Again, the rotation is weak, but we'll still keep a close eye on that. I mean, look at that hail core. Could it get any more defined than that? I mean, look at that, folks. Huge hail core, baseball-size hail with this storm, moving toward Festus, Missouri right now. I mean, this storm is tall. I mean, we're talking 55,000-foot storm tops now, folks. Whenever you get a storm 55,000 feet, you're going to be seeing some big hail. That's what we're seeing here right now. And we're going to put this in motion for you folks to show you. We got even another storm behind that, moving over the same areas that just got hit back towards Sullivan and Cuba, Missouri. You can see this is generally going to stay mostly south of Metro St. Louis. But areas on the southern side of St. Louis, like Belleville, you might have to watch over the next hour or so as this moves to the east. I'm not really expecting too much there in southwest Ohio today. I think, honestly, the severe weather is pretty low. Southwest Ohio, you have a marginal risk. you know, it's a risk, but I'm not too concerned about Ohio today, thankfully, because you guys have had a lot of severe weather events, a lot of significant severe weather the last couple of months. So you guys need a break over there in Ohio. But you still want to be weather aware. You have a marginal risk today. Western Kentucky, there's no severe weather really happening in Kentucky except for the storm near Hopkinsville. There's a warning. There's a severe thunderstorm capable of some 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail that is actually moving through Hopkinsville, Kentucky right now. So if you're in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, is anybody here in the chat from Hopkinsville or is living there currently? Are you experiencing this severe thunderstorm right now? Let me know what's happening with that. If you're seeing some really strong winds and hail, let me know. Yeah, the Nashville area. Nashville's quiet for the next couple of hours. You can see all these storms out here, though, kind of just popping up all over the place. These little cells. These eventually will become mature thunderstorms. So all of these cells through here will become mature thunderstorms over the next couple of hours, and all of them could rotate, could produce damaging winds, could produce hail. But the biggest storm so far of the day here that's had a tornado warning for quite a while, all the way back to Sullivan, is still capable of producing a tornado, but also mostly baseball-sized hailstones here. So, and then we got an interesting-looking storm west of Sullivan that has not severe warned yet. I would not be surprised if this storm near Sullivan that just got done with that tornado-warned storm has another warning here. I would be surprised if they didn't, because there's some purples and pinks showing up there. And if we look at the hail core with that, we're looking at some decent hail there to the north and west of Sullivan. That's going to be moving towards St. Clair as well, and I-44 in Missouri. This is also south and west of St. Louis. So a lot of hailstorms happening in southeastern Missouri so far today that we need to keep a very close eye on. If you're here, make sure to press the like button below. It's the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel. We're almost to 90,600 subscribers. If you could subscribe, we'll get there. The goal today is to reach at least 91,000 subscribers here by the end of the live. That'd be cool. That means we'd only be 9,000 away from 100,000 subscribers. It's crazy. I never thought I could get to almost 100,000 subscribers, but here we are. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Rebecca says pea-sized hail in Hopkinsville. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's not the biggest hailstorm ever, but definitely producing potentially some hail. It's not looking as strong as it was before when it was south of Hopkinsville. It was kind of strong back toward I-24 a little bit, but still some 60-mile-per-hour winds. You seen any gusty winds there, Rebecca? Yeah, Rebecca just said it pea-sized hail and pouring rain. So, cool. Yeah, that's severe thunderstorm warning there. Man, this storm over here near St. Louis is really packing a punch here, just south and west of St. Louis. It's going to be moving toward Festus, Missouri. The hail core was a little bit stronger a few frames ago, but this storm is still capable of producing that baseball-sized hail. Bella Vista, Arkansas. I think isn't that near Little Rock? If I'm not mistaken. Here, let me see here. I don't know where some of these smaller towns are, unfortunately. Oh wow, you're nowhere near Little Rock. Okay, I was way off. You're way in northwestern Arkansas. Yeah, your severe weather threat there is going to start to ramp up over the next couple hours. You can see these storms up here to the north and west of you. that are starting to develop near Joplin or just northwest of Joplin back toward Bartlesville in Oklahoma. Those storms will eventually propagate further east and southeast over the next couple of hours and mature. They'll become a little stronger and more intense. Those storms there could pose a risk for tornadoes, but also hail and wind over the next couple of hours. So I would be watching in Bella Vista to your north and west over the next couple hours, because these storm cells almost certainly will grow in intensity with the instability that we have today. Let's look at that too. We haven't looked at that really today at all. Let's go back here to the HRRR model and show you the instability in which these storms are working with. And when we say instability, this is basically thunderstorm fuel. If you don't have fuel for your car, you can't drive, right? This is the same thing for thunderstorms. If you don't have fuel, you won't see a storm at all. Look at the fuel today. This is noon time frame. This is about 20 minutes ago. Look at the instability back where those storms are developing there in Joplin. We have instability up to 45, 46, 4,700 joules per kilogram. That is like June, July levels of instability, okay? So we have a lot of energy to tap into with these thunderstorms. So they will have no problem producing hail for sure with this much energy. On the northern side of this instability plume is where we have that big baseball size hail maker up there southwest of St. Louis. That is taking advantage of every bit of the instability that we have so far in the environment. We have around 2,500 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability up in the St. Louis area. So that's more than enough to produce some big hail like that. That's why we're seeing it, is because the instability is off the charts today. Down toward Dallas, if you have a storm develop in Dallas, I'd be very concerned about hail. Look at the instability in Dallas, Texas. You have about almost 5,000 joules per kilogram today, 4,690 at noon. So a lot of instability here in the Dallas area, even stronger south and west of town. You're up to 5,300, almost 5,400 joules per kilogram west of Killeen and Waco, Texas, west of I-35 here. So, that's enough said, right? That's a lot of energy. So it's a lot of energy. And if we kind of time this out a little bit further through the mid-afternoon, notice how the energy actually goes up. See how you see more reds and purples in Arkansas into Tennessee there, and it really almost turns like white over here into eastern Texas. These instability values, I mean, they could not get higher. We're talking 6,000 joules per kilogram roughly in Texas there in the Dallas area. We're talking like 4,600 there in Little Rock. I mean, it doesn't get much higher than that, folks. So the atmosphere is not in a lack of energy today, is essentially what I'm saying. There is not a lack of energy by any means. By any means. So that's why we have the baseball size hail like we do, and that's not even in an area that has that much instability. Let's go back to the noon time frame here, and that's where we have that baseball size hail maker up there towards St. Louis. Look at the instability up here, folks. Just for a reference, let's look at this just real quick. You have 2,500 to 3,000 joules per kilogram instability up there, and we're seeing baseball-size hail with a tornado warning up here southwest of St. Louis, right? Look at the instability back here towards Dallas right now. Like double that, right? So we're most certainly, if there's a storm that fires off, like those storms there that are now beginning to move toward Joplin, it won't take long. It won't take long. They'll be severe. So give it another hour or so. A lot of energy today. And it's driven by dew points. I mean, look at the dew points today as well. That's why we have all the instability. The Gulf of Mexico is wide open. It's all wide open. The doors are open to the Gulf of Mexico. We have 70s, mid-70 dew points, 75-degree dew points in Dallas right now. That is air you can wear. Look at the dry line across West Texas. Lubbock up to Amarillo, 20s dew points. Nice lift there. So that's a lifting mechanism. We have a front moving through. A dry line, or a cold front, so to speak. Cold front back here. We got the warm front up here. That's why we have the tornado warning. Okay, here's another reason why we have it, is because we have a warm front, And that's why we're concerned about the St. Louis area right now, because we have a cold front back here, low pressure system to the north, and then we have kind of a little bit of a warm front draped across the lower Midwestern, like mid-Missouri Valley region into the lower Ohio River Valley. Areas south of this boundary are completely unstable today, so we have to keep an eye on that. Another thing to watch, see where this instability kind of comes to a little bit of kind of like an R or an L, like this, like a 90-degree angle. That is what we call the triple point. We have to watch any storms that develop up there in Missouri as that moves east along the warm front. Those could pose a risk for stronger tornadoes as well today. The triple points have been extremely active this year for severe weather events, so that's one of the areas we need to really keep a close eye on. And you can see near the triple point, there's those semi-discrete supercells here this afternoon developing back near Joplin. And those will grow upscale and move towards St. Louis over the next couple hours. We can see that here and time it out for you. You can see as we go in towards the 2 o'clock time frame, look at that. We need to really keep watching these storms here from St. Louis back to Jefferson City, Joplin, Springfield, these areas near the warm front very closely. And even these areas further east, like into Kentucky, Tennessee, these storms are semi-discrete, very close to the warm front. They are, if they become surface-based, they will almost certainly have a primed atmosphere to produce tornadoes, wind, and hail today. There's no doubt about it. So we need to be very, very careful in watching the weather this afternoon and evening. Yeah, I know, right, Andrew? Yes, exactly. Great comment you have there. It says 6,000 joules per kilogram. He's talking about the instability there in the chat. You can almost feel the air rising. Absolutely right. I mean, you go outside and you feel how warm it is, how muggy it is. Mid-70s dew points will instantly make you sweat as you walk out the door. I mean, I live in northern Illinois, west of Chicago, and we've had what we call corn sweat, where, the corn crop starts to grow and the beans during the middle of July and August. And our dew points up here have gotten into the low and mid 80s before. And it is absolutely muggy outside. That's kind of the air we're seeing today. So, yeah, Andrew makes a good point. If you can almost feel the air rising and you could walk outside and say it's a thunderstorm environment today, the atmosphere is primed. That is for sure. So I'm assuming most of us that are live here with me right now that are in the live stream and watching probably could walk outside their door. Hopefully you don't have a severe thunderstorm while you're doing it. Walk outside your door and feel all the muggy air too. Yeah, Brenda, I'm not too concerned about Ohio in the Middletown area. There could be some storms up there today, but like here, I'll put it in motion and you can see like Ohio really doesn't get much today. There may be a couple storms late this evening, but even that is kind of an unfavorable time of day. And Ohio is really kind of north of the boundary today. And what I mean by that is the Ohio, like see the dew points today? Ohio, the strongest dew points will stay well south. So I think Ohio should be mostly okay today. I think we're mostly concerned about areas across like southern Illinois, southern Indiana, into especially Kentucky, but really mostly central and southern Kentucky today. And then over here toward like the Virginias into portions of the Carolinas, Tennessee mostly as well. A lot of Tennessee will probably see severe weather this evening and overnight. And then back building storms back toward Dallas. Let's look at the timing here in Dallas. We haven't looked at that a lot yet. We do have a chance for some stronger storms. The model has it developing storms not really firing off there in North Texas until after dinner, so like after 6, 7 o'clock. That is possible. We'll keep a very close eye on that. And if they fire, we already showed you, look at this. This is 8 o'clock this evening. Look at those storms right here in Dallas, Fort Worth area, Paris, Texas. We go over here and look at the instability, your surface cape, your convective available potential energy. I mean, off the charts. Absolutely off the charts. 5,500 joules per kilogram. There is more than enough fuel for storms here. So if they get going, they're going to be big hail producers in Dallas. So again, make sure if you have a garage, that you use it today and put your car in the garage. If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're in Texarkana, if you're in Little Rock, Memphis, all you folks, make sure you put your vehicle in a garage if you do have a garage at your disposal, because you don't want hail damage to your vehicle. I promise you that. These storms, if they develop in Texas today, I will almost certainly tell you they will produce big hail with this environment today. Like, these storms could be producing baseball size hail type of hailstones today if they develop around 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, McKinney, Plano, up there towards southeastern Oklahoma, and then Arkansas toward Fayetteville. All right, let's move up here to the north. We got an extension of the severe thunderstorm warning there in Kentucky, so near Hopkinsville. Let's look into this now. This is looking like, it's a general baseline severe thunderstorm warning. So what I mean by that, it's your everyday severe thunderstorm, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. As long as you're indoors out here, you will be fine. So if you are north and east of Hopkinsville toward Dunmore and the Allegri area, Clifty, and also Sharon Grove, you guys also in Fairview should all be in your safe spot right now indoors. So like we always say, when thunder roars, go indoors. And what better time to use it than during the spring and summertime? That's when we have thunderstorms the most. Man, this supercell in St. Louis has a lot to work with. There's no storms impeding the inflow at all. Like, look at all the open space here to the south and east of the storm. So the inflow is absolutely uninterrupted here. We have some very strong hail cores within this. Still, this storm is capable of baseball-size hail, and the strongest part of this hail core is actually pushing right over Grubbville right now. So if you live in Grubbville, Missouri, south and west of Metro St. Louis, you're likely seeing some extremely large hail right now, up to baseball size. This is heading up towards maybe just near and south of Cedar Hill Lakes and Hillsboro. So if you are in Hillsboro or Cedar Hill Lakes, you're next with that hail core. Could be seeing those baseball-sized hailstones with this storm. And this is actually heading toward Festus, Missouri as well, near the Mississippi River. So we're keeping a very close eye on our friends over there into Festus, Missouri, as well as all the areas in this tornado warning. Yep, 45 minutes south of Louisville, you have a chance of severe weather today. Yep. Most of the state of Kentucky has a chance of actually all of the state of Kentucky has a chance of severe weather. The highest chance, though, is across the southern part of the state where we have that moderate risk. You have the moderate risk over here in the southwestern and parts of southern Kentucky. Areas near Louisville and south, you have a slight to an enhanced risk of severe weather. So you have a pretty decent shot at some storms. You're up near the warm front. So if you're in Louisville, I'd be, monitoring the weather very closely. You're up near the boundary where we have a lot of turning of the winds with height. When you get a lot of turning of the winds with height, you could definitely see some pretty strong supercells that take advantage of that and produce some rotation and thus tornadoes today. So, yeah, we've been live for about an hour and a half now. We were live for 3.5 hours yesterday covering severe weather and your outlook questions and stuff like that, answering all the severe weather outlook questions and all the questions you had. So thanks everybody for joining. If you are here, make sure to press the like button. It's the thumbs up button down below, and subscribe here to my channel at Weather on the Go so I can keep you covered with your weather forecasts in your area all throughout this year, every day. Maggie Travels, thanks for the $1.99. Please, what to expect Crossville, Illinois. I'm not sure what Crossville, Illinois is, but I will look at that for you. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. So let's look at Crossville. So yeah, southeastern Illinois. You have storms to your south. You have a big severe thunder, or actually a big tornado warning just to your west, well over there in the Missouri side. You do have a chance for severe weather there. You are under an enhanced risk. So you have an enhanced risk of severe weather today. I'd be weather aware there as well in Crossville, Illinois. Tornadoes, strong tornadoes, and hail and wind are going to be your threats today. All three of those threats are possible in Crossville, Illinois. Keep a very close eye on southern Illinois here. Crawfordsville, Indiana. I believe, let's see, Crawfordsville, Indiana here. I'm not exactly sure where that is, so I gotta look at this here. Okay, so yeah, you have a less threat of severe weather today versus what you saw yesterday, but you still have a chance. You have a marginal risk of severe weather up there in Crawfordsville. This does include the threat for damaging winds and hail, but the tornado threat is still there. You do have a less than 2% chance, I suppose. The tornado threat is there. It's very low. So it's very low. So your severe weather chance is pretty low today compared to yesterday. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning to the north of Carbondale toward Benton. This is in southern Illinois. So let's look at this new warning that just popped up here. This storm is moving to the east, and this is moving to the east and northeast toward Benton. So if you're in Benton, Illinois, you're going to see some pretty strong winds. This is down toward DuQuoin, Cesar, and also the Benton region. For 60-mile-per-hour winds and some half-dollar-sized hail are definitely possible with this storm. So keep very close tabs on that. Yeah, the Evansville area. Evansville, you do have a threat for severe weather today. A lot of the severe weather is off to your west for now, but I promise you'll have a chance, an opportunity for severe weather later. Evansville is very dry right now. Storms firing off over there in southern and central Illinois, and then over there toward Missouri. Those will be moving in over the next couple of hours. So make sure, again, in Evansville, Owensboro, Louisville, up to Bloomington, Indiana, make sure you are weather aware over the next several hours as these storms are just now starting to strengthen here. Let's go back to those storms over here near Joplin. Let's see how strong these are trying to trend up. Again, we are starting to see some strengthening of these storms right along that boundary up here near the triple point where the low pressure system, the warm front, and the dry line are. And you can see we are starting to see a little bit more of these storms becoming more aggressive here. So we're starting to see a little bit more reds, yellows. That means we're starting to see heavy rainfall, some hail potentially, smaller hail with those storms back near just to the north and west of Joplin right now. Keeping a very, very close eye on those storms for sure. Why was Alabama included in the enhanced risk? Because they got a chance of severe weather later. No, for real though. No, Alabama is in an enhanced risk, like the northern side up here toward Florence and Huntsville. There is a chance for severe weather today. This does include the threat for tornadoes, so there is a 5% chance within a 25-mile radius of Florence and Huntsville for severe weather. The Birmingham, Tuscaloosa area, you have essentially around a 2% chance of a tornado today. So the far northern reaches of Alabama, you do have the chance for some bigger storms. This will mainly actually be this evening. So like if we go to the HRRR model and look at the timing here of the storms, this is the newest run of it. So this is the most accurate information we have. We could have some storms moving through early evening through the Huntsville-Florence region. Those could produce all modes of severe weather, and then a more widespread round after midnight by about 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning as it moves in from Tennessee and northeastern Mississippi. These could pack a punch with some very strong winds over 60 miles per hour, some quarter-size hail or larger, and maybe even a brief spin-up tornado there in northern Alabama with the leading edge of that line of storms. That's what you call a mesoscale convective system, otherwise known as an MCS. If you ever heard a meteorologist talk about an MCS, you're like, what is an MCS? An MCS can come in very different forms. You could have a squall line. A quasi-linear convective system is a kind of a form of an MCS in a way. A derecho is the strongest form of an MCS. I don't think we see a derecho today, But we do definitely see some strong winds along a large area here, stretching from the Carolinas back through almost Arkansas here with this line of storms after midnight going into your early morning hours on Thursday. Joplin is not clear yet. We do still have storms to your north and west. Joplin, you are not in the clear yet. You do have a chance for some storms later on here. Actually, let's look at the timing here. So there's Joplin right there in southwest Missouri. And let's go all the way back here. So Joplin, storms are firing to your north and west. You could have some big storms moving through between about 2 o'clock and about 6 o'clock this evening, or this afternoon. So that's what we're seeing here in the Joplin, Springfield area. Looks like between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. is your main time frame to watch for those big storms. They could include tornadoes, strong tornadoes as well, even those EF2, EF3 caliber tornadoes. We could be seeing those 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts or stronger, and also those very, very large hailstones, much like we see there south and west of Metro St. Louis. Thank you to everybody who has asked their questions today. If I didn't get to your question, then I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of people here in the live stream asking questions today. If you do not think I'll get to your question, just make sure to, or if I just don't get to your question in general, just make sure to ask your question after the live stream is over, in the comment section after the live, and then I'll answer your question there too. If you haven't subscribed here to my channel, Weather on the Go, we just hit 90,610. We're getting closer to 100,000. So if you want to help out in getting me to 100,000 subscribers, make sure to smash that subscribe button and the like button below. I really appreciate it. The new outlook for what? Today or Thursday? The new outlook for Thursday's out. I don't know if it's out yet. It looks the same. Are you talking about today's outlook? Is the same too. Yeah, they expanded the enhanced, it looks like, further east towards like Charlotte. So that makes sense with there's already a few severe storms there further off to the east. Yeah, they expanded the enhanced risk level 3 out of 5 further east into the western Carolinas, even almost central Carolinas, including Charlotte, Greenville, and Asheville. So if you live in those areas, make sure that you are weather aware. You are now under a 3 out of 5 on the risk scale for today. And this will really be late. I mean, you have severe storms moving into western Carolinas now, but you'll have another more widespread round well after dark. I'm talking after midnight into early morning hours on Thursday. Big time storm moving into Festus now. So big time storm moving into Festus, Missouri. Very, very, I would say it looks pretty broad. Looks like a pretty broad area of rotation. So again, this tornado warning stayed pretty broad with the rotation lately, but we definitely could be seeing the potential here for a tornado if this does start to strengthen, but it hasn't really for a while, which is good. Big hail core as well, just north and west of DeSoto. So northwest of DeSoto, you have some very big hail between Cedar Lakes and Hillsboro. So if you live in Peevely, Festus, and Kimswick, you guys are going to be next in line for the hail and potentially the very strong winds with the storm. We still have the potential for 2.75-inch hail. That is baseball size, folks. That is definitely baseball size hail. You're welcome, Angel. Thanks for joining. Atlanta, Georgia. Kristen. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia does have a risk for severe weather later on today. Again, this is mainly, we'll look at the timing here. So We'll look at the outlook first, then we'll look at the timing for Atlanta. So right now, Atlanta, Georgia, you're in the slight risk of severe weather. You go north from Atlanta into northern Georgia, you're in the enhanced risk. You go south from Atlanta, you drop into the marginal and then the general thunderstorm risk. So the further south you go, you're a lot better there. As far as the timing for storms there in the Atlanta area, we're going to look at the timing here real quick. Wait for this to load in here. While we can't rule out a storm at any point today, I think the most organized activity for Atlanta is actually going to come in like literally rush hour tomorrow. So like between 5 and 8 o'clock in the morning. Let me go back to the 12Z run to see how far this goes through. Thank you, Kristen B, for the $1.99. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Thank you. Yeah, while we can't rule out severe weather in Atlanta at any point today, I think most of the organized severe weather will be after midnight. And really for the rush hour on Thursday, we're talking like 5 to 8 o'clock in the morning. So as you're headed off to work or school, probably going to be dealing with at least some type of severe weather or at least very heavy rain from these storms as they push on through the Roswell, Atlanta, Gainesville, and Athens, Georgia region. They will be weakening, though, as they move further south. We'll have to wait and see. And then maybe, for tomorrow's threat for Thursday, they may re-strengthen across southern Georgia and that slight risk for tomorrow. So we'll keep a close eye on those areas there as well. The Rolla, Houston, Missouri area, there is actually, let me go back to the radar here. That tornado warned storm just went past your area a little bit ago. You do have a little bit of some storms there in Rolla, but nothing too significant right now. Still be weather aware. We got a new tornado warning in Kentucky now. So we got 2 tornado warnings ongoing, one southwest of St. Louis and one now just between Hopkinsville and Bowling Green. And it does have a little bit of an appendage on it here. This is a radar indicated tornado warning for northern Todd County in south central Kentucky until 1:15 this afternoon. Severe storm capable of producing that tornado was located near Elkton, Kentucky, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So if you live between Bowling Green and Hopkinsville, you are impacted by the storm. It looks like the rotating part of this storm is going to be heading up towards Sharon Grove. So if you live in Sharon Grove and then downstream from there, Lewisburg and Eppleys in Kentucky, make sure you are in your safe spot. You definitely need to be in your safe spot. So if you are in Sharon Grove, I want you guys to be in your basement right now. We definitely have the chance for a tornado with this storm. Looking at the velocity here, it's not very clear cut, but it's very weak rotation, and we're also very close to the radar site here. But I do think that there could be a tornado potentially developing with this storm very soon. That's why the National Weather Service has issued that tornado warning. Yeah, Sharon Grove. So you can see this little appendage here, classic supercell structure. You got the hail core to the north toward Clifty. And you can see the hail core up in this area here. That will be heading toward Lewisburg. And then you have the appendage down here, and then Sharon Grove. Sharon Grove over here, that appendage is headed right towards Sharon Grove. And that's where the tornado would be sitting if it did develop. And it would be sitting right in here and then heading right towards Sharon Grove in Kentucky. So if you know anybody that lives in the Sharon Grove region, Claymore or Liberty, you guys need to be in your safe spot here. So Liberty, Sharon Grove, and Claymore, Kentucky. You guys all need to be in your safe spot. The rotation is now moving over Liberty as we speak, and it's heading up towards Claymore and Sharon Grove. Also Justice. If you live in Justice, make sure that you are in your safe spot as well. New scan just came in. Here, we get a better view of that from the Nashville radar a little bit. Pretty broad right now. There's no indication that there's a tornado on the ground here. Actually, let's see here. There is a little bit. there might be a tornado. Let me see something here. Wow, that's a very, there may be a tornado on the ground. Let me see here real quick. We got a little bit of noise in here where the reds and greens are coming together here. Right there, south and west of Sharon Grove. And we look at the correlation coefficient, there's a lot of noise here. So I think there's a possibility that this could be on the ground. Very possible. If you live in Sharon Grove, you need to be in your basement as soon as possible. Right now, you need to be in your basement. Sharon Grove, Kentucky. If you live in Claymore, this storm is moving right over you, the rotating part of this storm. There's a lot of blues and green. There's a lot of noise here on the correlation coefficient. This storm looks like it could be producing a tornado or at least a funnel cloud. There has been no confirmation of that. It says radar indicated. And I'll wait for the new radar scan to come in. Yeah, right there. Look at that, folks. We may have a tornado potentially on the ground. This is unofficial, but we have reds, greens coming together, and this would be moving right into Sharon Grove, Kentucky right now. All right, and this is between Claymore and Sharon Grove. We have the threat for a tornado here potentially on the ground. There is a little bit of noise again on the correlation coefficient. That means there may be a tornado on the ground here potentially. You can see there's a lot of inflow with the storm. This is a very dangerous supercell. This is ultimately between Hopkinsville and Bowling Green, but this is for Sharon Grove and Claymore, Kentucky. Wow, this is a very dangerous storm, folks. New scan just came in. The rotating part is now moving into Sharon Grove and Claymore. If you live in Justice, you need to be in your safe spot if you're not already. Eppleys, Lewisburg, be ready. This storm is coming your way very soon in Kentucky. It looks like the hail core from the storm is just north of Sharon Grove. We could be seeing literally potentially up to a quarter-size hail, maybe even a little bit bigger than that with this storm now. Very dangerous storm here. Yeah, I think we got I think we may have a tornado on the ground here. It's hard. I think we do, near Sharon Grove. Yeah, just waiting for the new radar scan to come in here real quick. If you are new to my channel and you are enjoying this live tornado outbreak coverage so far, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also be sure to like the live stream down below. It helps out to get more people in here about this tornado potential here in the Kentucky region. Yeah, I think there will be storms in Rolla, Missouri tonight. Yeah, eventually there will be likely some storms there. Scattered coverage, but there will be storms in the vicinity. Wow, yeah, we got some debris there potentially near the Sharon Grove region. Very strong supercell, folks. The storm back towards St. Louis is not tornado warned anymore. That storm is still producing some big hail there, probably, but not tornado warned, at least right now. We do have a big hail core here near Benton. If you live near Benton, we got the chance for seeing golf ball size hail and some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts moving right into Benton there in southern Illinois right now. So if you're in Benton in southern Illinois, watch out for that one. But our biggest concern is this tornadic supercell that is in portions of southwest Kentucky right now. That we need to show our attention to. It looked like it maybe just broadened out a little bit more. Yeah, we may have had at least a brief touchdown of a tornado, at least near or just southwest of Sharon Grove, Kentucky. And we still may be seeing a tornado potentially. We're waiting for the new scan to come in here to the radar. Unfortunately, I do have to end the live stream very soon to eat some lunch. It's going to be a long day of severe weather. You know, I could be live for 13 hours or 20 hours or 30 hours. I mean, the severe weather is literally going to start like it is now, and it's going to remain severe all the way through the night after midnight through 6 o'clock in the morning. I would love to be here for hours on end. We've already been here for almost 2 hours, but we're going to keep a close eye here. Still on this storm that has tornado warning here for 12 more minutes in the Sharon region to see what happens with this one. Sorry, I'm not being very talkative right now. I'm looking at radar, and also storm reports and stuff here coming in. We got a lot of hail reports coming in currently from Missouri. Tons of hail reports from that big significant supercell. Already today, we've had 24 hail reports, 4 of them being 2-inch in diameter or larger, 16 wind reports, and 0 tornado reports so far, and for a total of 40 severe weather reports. We have a report of 2-inch hail, 2.5-inch hail, baseball size, or tennis ball size, and baseball size hail as well into Grubville. So that was southwest of St. Louis there. So we've already seen our fair share of some big hail with a lot of these storms today. Keeping a very, very, very close eye on a lot of these storms today, folks. Again, like I said, I would love to be live for hours on end, but I do have to eat. I have not ate a single thing today. I got up very early this morning at 5:30 this morning to put my videos together for you folks on the main channel here, Weather on the Go, and my second channel that's pinned at the top of the chat if you want to go subscribe to that one. North Central Weather Center, I did post a video there. I did all that this morning, and then I went live. So it's been a very busy day. I haven't had really the chance to eat anything. So Let's see. What is the velocity looking like on this? Yeah, it looks like it's... Before I go, I just want to make sure that whatever this storm is doing here in Kentucky between east of Hopkinsville and northwest of Russellville is not doing anything. And then I'll have to go eat. And of course they extended the tornado warning. So we got radar indicated tornado warning just issued for the next 23 minutes. Includes Eppleys, Cooperstown, Homer in Kentucky. So if you live in those areas, make sure you are in your basement and away from windows. Very dangerous storm here. This is in northwestern Logan County in south central Kentucky. Weather spotters have confirmed. Okay, again, weather spotters have confirmed and reported a funnel cloud with this storm. So this storm is capable of producing a tornado. Whenever there's a funnel cloud, there could be a tornado. So if you're in Eppleys, Cooperstown, Homer, or Insco, over there into areas between Russellville and Lewisburg in south central Kentucky, you need to be in your safe spot. Hail core moving up into Lewisburg in the next few minutes. So some big hail there. Be ready for that. Yeah, the rotating part of the storm will be heading towards right at Eppleys and Cooperstown. So if you live in Eppleys, Cooperstown, the tornado could be moving toward you. There's a reported funnel cloud. If it drops a tornado, it will be moving right through the Eppleys and Cooperstown, Kentucky region. Yeah, that's an impressive looking supercell. Very impressive looking supercell. All right, we have a tornado warning still up here for Festus, Missouri. It looks like the rotating part of this storm in Missouri is near Festus or just to the southwest of Festus there between DeSoto and Festus. That's going to be crossing over the Mississippi River. So if you're in Waterloo, Illinois, Red Bud, or Prairie du Rocher, you guys are all going to be impacted by this tornado-warned storm there in far southwestern Illinois. Yeah, that's an impressive echo there. Exactly. Yeah, big hail core that's just to the northwest of Festus, Missouri right now. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed here, all 500, 600, 700 of you that are here, make sure subscribe here to my channel, Weather on the Go. Subscribe to the second channel pinned at the top of the chat if you live in the north central U.S. Even if you live in Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, or Kentucky, make sure to subscribe to that channel. We do videos on that channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure, again, to subscribe to this channel here, Weather on the Go, if you haven't already, so you get more of my live streams, videos in the future, and you are notified for them. Make sure to turn all notifications on. Please, everybody, stay safe today. It was unfortunately a very, very damaging day of severe weather yesterday with a lot of tornadoes in Michigan and really all across the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley yesterday. And today we have another very dangerous day potentially of storms. We already have had potentially a couple at least brief touchdowns of tornadoes today. And we're still watching this very dangerous storm there in Kentucky that has the chance to produce a tornado here for Eppleys and Cooperstown. Looking at the velocity, again, very broad right now, but the tornado out of this storm could develop at any time. Clear inflow notch here, just north of Russellville into Kentucky. So please have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings, severe weather watches and warnings, as damaging winds over 75 miles per hour, 2 to 3 inch diameter hailstones today, and also tornadoes, including strong long track tornadoes, may be possible, especially in the enhanced and the moderate risk zone for severe weather today. All right. So again, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the live stream, and I will see you all tomorrow on my video. In the morning, we will always put our videos out between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So be looking out for that tomorrow morning. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to all the donations. I appreciate everybody who has donated today. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed to my channel today. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody viewing my live stream here today as well. Thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. I couldn't ask for a better audience. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much for everything. And we'll see you very soon, okay? Watch out for the video tomorrow. And we may have another live stream tomorrow as well, as we have another enhanced risk, especially back there in Texas. And we can look real quick at the enhanced or the outlook for tomorrow. Tomorrow's outlook, they actually did expand that enhanced risk. So they expanded it from Dallas and Austin east to Shreveport, Monroe, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Atlanta, over here to the Macon, Georgia area, Savannah, and Augusta, Brunswick, Albany, all these areas, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. You guys are all on that enhanced risk level 3 out of 5 for tomorrow. So another dangerous day of severe weather on Thursday, and hopefully after that, we'll start to quiet down at least for a while, but it is May, so severe weather will be likely probably later in May again. We'll talk real soon. Stay safe, everybody. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your Wednesday. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.